Hey, Sam here from Sugar Spun, and today we are making gourmet sugar cookies. These were actually a reader request. I had a couple of people ask for a sugar cookie recipe that wasn't a cutout recipe. It was a bit thicker, butterier, and this is what I came up with. It's the kind of cookie you'd find in a bakery. Let's go ahead and preheat our oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit because yes, there's no chilling for today's recipe, and let's get started. First thing you're going to need is 1 cup or 226 grams of softened unsalted butter. And we're also adding 1.5 cups or 300 grams of granulated sugar. No brown sugar in today's recipe for a true sugar cookie flavor. You just want to use granulated. You don't want any of that molasses flavor, though I love it in some of my other recipes. We're going to beat together the butter and the sugar until things are like light and fluffy, usually about a minute or two on high speed. Of course, you can make this recipe using a stand mixer if you have one, but I'm just using my electric hand mixer today. There we go, I'd call that light, fluffy, well creamed. So now we're going to add our eggs. You need 2 large eggs for today's recipe. Ideally, they should be at room temperature. Room temperature is just going to help everything combine nicely, but I'll be honest, this is a recipe where you can get away with just pulling your eggs out of the fridge. Wouldn't say that about everyone. Let's go ahead and see if I can crack this without getting any shell in there. I'm gonna try the one-handed crack. This will either go great or poorly. Oh, it's in between. Okay, 2 eggs. Let me wash my hands. Alrighty, let's add the eggs in there. And we're also going to add our vanilla extract. We're doing a full tablespoon of vanilla extract. Adds a nice depth of flavor, nice sweetness. It makes them really taste like a sugar cookie. And these are a gourmet sugar cookie indeed. They're nice and thick, buttery, everything you could want. Well, at least that's what I thought when I made them. I hope you guys agree with that. All right, let's stir this together until we have a nice uniform mixture. And that looks pretty good, but I do want to do a quick scrape of the sides and bottom of the bowl to make sure things really are well incorporated. This looks nice, so I'm going to just move this out of the way and grab a separate bowl for our dry ingredients. All right, in a lot of my cookie recipes recently, I have been using cake flour. This recipe, I also highly recommend using cake flour. Cake flour is a finer flour. It is going to create a softer crumb. And for those cookies where I'm going for them to be thick, but I don't want them to be dry, I want the crumb to still melt in your mouth really nicely, cake flour works really well. It makes them nice and tender. So cake flour is what you want to use here. This is 455 grams of cake flour. How many times can I say cake flour? We'll also be adding 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder and just 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. The baking soda will help a little bit with the spread, and it also does add a bit to the flavor as well. Makes a difference. And then 3/4 teaspoon of table salt. Go ahead and use my 2 measuring spoons until I get myself a 3/4 measuring spoon one of these days. All right, let's whisk everything together so we get those leavening agents well distributed, the salt well distributed. This whisk is a little bit small, so let me use a spoon. So once this is well combined, we'll bring back our butter mixture, which smells amazing thanks to that vanilla. And we're going to gradually add the dry ingredients to the wet. Let me make sure I get everything off my spatula first. Now we're going to use our electric mixer to do this part, and I do want to stress that you want to add the flour gradually. So add it in like 4 parts. Don't add it all at once. It's going to be difficult to mix. You'll make a mess, and the dough is going to be a little bit too dry for you to work with just because of how you added the flour. So do it in 4 parts. I won't make you watch all 4 parts on the video, don't worry. And our final portion. So we're almost done with this part. We just want to scrape the sides and bottom. You can see there's flour sitting up here. I'll use my spatula now to make sure everything is well incorporated. You don't want any dry streaks of flour remaining. These are pretty much ready to bake, but I want to let you know about your options. If you want, you can add sprinkles here. You'll want to add about 1/3 cup of your favorite sprinkles. I like nonpareils. I said nonpareils. I like Jimmy's. I like these long sprinkles. This is optional, but it adds a nice pop of color. My sister's gonna be really disappointed because she likes it better without the sprinkles, but I like sprinkles, so we're going to add them. Let's go ahead and stir these in. I usually just do this by hand instead of using the mixer. Now, I do not chill this dough, but I want to tell you that if your kitchen is super hot, if your butter was a little bit warm, or if you bake your first batch and they spread a little bit more than you want them to, just cover the dough, pop it in the fridge for like 30 minutes. It's fine if you do chill it. Cookies will be a bit thicker that way. All right, let's bake some cookies. These are sugar cookies. So one thing I like to do is roll the cookie dough balls through some granulated sugar before I bake them. This is a coarser granulated sugar. Regular would be okay, but if you've ever seen like an organic cane sugar in the grocery store, that's a coarser sugar. It's just got coarser, thicker, larger grains, and it works really nicely and adds a really nice texture. So if you can find that, grab yourself a bag and save it for rolling your cookies through. Turbinado sugar also works really well, but it's not a true sugar cookie flavor because it's like a less refined sugar and it has a slightly different flavor, but it's still delicious. I like these cookies to be big cookies, like, you know, gourmet bakery style. So we're going to be doing 3 tablespoons of dough per cookie. That's 60 grams per cookie. This is a 1.5 tablespoon size scoop, so I just do 2 of these. Now, to make them look nice, I do like to just kind of roll the dough between my palms. It can be a little bit sticky, but it shouldn't be like crazy sticky. And we'll put a couple of these cookies on the baking sheet. Make sure you space them at least 2 inches apart because they are going to spread some. We want to give them room to bake properly. Usually do like 6 cookies on a baking sheet. And I usually get about 17 cookies out of a batch of this dough, which may not sound like a ton, but they're big cookies. All right, just going to roll these. And if the dough's too sticky to roll, you can pop it in the fridge too. But it's a little sticky, but you can kind of see, I think, that it's not sticking to my hands. And then after I roll the dough, we'll roll it through our coarse sugar. You know, sprinkles and sugar. I get a little crazy around here sometimes, but sugar is in my name. These are going, ooh, I missed one. Oh, that would have been a tragedy. There we go. Beautiful. These will go into the center rack of our 350 Fahrenheit or 175 Celsius oven, where they usually need to bake for about 13 minutes. I would recommend checking yours at 11 or 12 minutes just to make sure you don't overbake them. So important you don't overbake these cookies, because if you do, they'll be dry and crumbly, or they're just not going to be quite as good. We want them to be soft, chewy, stay soft for days, and kind of melt in your mouth, just super tender. After your first batch of cookies, let them cool enough that you can pick them up and flip them over. The bottom of the cookie should be super pale. You don't want them to be completely underbaked, but they should just be hovering on that line. The bottom should not be more than the lightest golden brown. It should really be pale. Now, I do like to let these cookies cool completely on the baking sheet because they will likely be a little bit underdone. When you pull them out, let them finish cooling here. They'll finish baking completely, and then you'll have perfectly soft cookies. If you fear you may have overbaked your cookies, you can move them to a cooling rack a little bit sooner to stop that baking process. All right, let's take a quick look at the bottom of the cookie. That's what you want to see right there, where they're super, super pale. Let me see if I have any other examples I can show you. This cookie is fine, but it's a little more done than I like to see. It's not going to be as soft and tender as the other cookies, but of course you do want to make sure you are baking them through and not completely underbaking them. If they're really fragile, they're probably underbaked. And that's it. That's how you make these gourmet sugar cookies. Like I said, they were requested. I really do, I read the comments, I listen to what you're saying, so give me feedback of other things you'd like to see. Let me know if you do like sprinkles and cookies. Do you not like sprinkles? Are you like Nikki? Are you weird? Just let me know. Love hearing from you. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. All right, the best part of the day. Which one do I want? This one. Let's break it in half. Oh, it's still a little bit warm. Oh yeah, the perfect cookie. I can't wait to hear what you think about these. A lot of my cake, no. What did you get me? A buttercup.
2 buttercups.
I love them. I'm gonna put them back here.
Yeah, and I love your kitchen.
You love my kitchen?
Yeah.
Thank you, I love it too.